What's going on, everybody? What's going on? I hope that all is well with everybody. So, listen, first of all, I want to say that not only am I proud of you, God is proud of you. But when's the last time you actually sat down and said to yourself, wow, you have made, like, from 2022 and now that we're entering 2026, you already walked in 2026 like like towards the end of 2025, like God did removing, God did revealing as he was already elevating you, and you knew that already when you walked into 2026. 2026 is was not going to look like 2025, 2024. And you are literally entering, like last year, towards the end of last year, you were entering your winning season. And now you are literally in your winning season. You have done a complete 360 to the point like where you have done a complete 360, like as far as like self-improvement. You've done like a tremendous amount of self-improvement, and not just like physically, like really internally, spiritually, getting closer with God. And when you took that first step, God took that next step for you. And then that's when like everything began to shift and literally work out for not only your favor, but for your greater. Because you're already highly favored. But now you're really realizing like how valuable you are. You're realizing like how there's just so much, how there was just so much more to you. You were just not only maybe in the wrong environment, around the wrong people, but now it don't even matter what environment you're at. Like as far, now it's to the point where it's like you're so high up, you've changed so much for the better. It's like you refuse to come down. You've done so much self-improvement. Like when I mean spiritually, you're not like the same person that you used to be, where people were just always bringing out the worst in you, and people were just trying to turn you into someone that you're not. They were trying to turn you like into them. They were trying to manipulate you and control you into them, and they knew that you were unique. They knew that not only did you have potential, but they knew that you were unique. They knew that you were different and you stood out. And that was a problem. The fact that you never had to do too much to stand out, and you always stood out. People always just admired you no matter where you went. You never was afraid to be different. And that's also what made you more happier. And God, taught you to express that, because part of you being different and part of you standing out in a good way was that you realized you were chosen. You were always like that. And the more and more that you express that, and the more and more other people that were close to you, family, close friends, your spouse, they seen that other strangers and other people, that's what they admired about you the most, was that, wait a minute, this chosen sister is different. This chosen brother is different. I like how she do this. I like how he do that. Best believe, yes, you have haters, but there's a lot of people that take notes from you. A lot of people that ask about you, to people that you don't even talk to no more. But let's talk about the improvement. Listen, you have done a complete 360. Like, you don't hang out, you don't go to the places that you used to go to. You don't go to the places that you used to go to. You don't hang around the people that you used to hang around with. You don't socialize with the people that you used to socialize with. You don't hang around and go to the places that you used to go because you just outgrew them. You were like, you want, not that you were like, you want something more. You want something that's going to elevate you. You want to go to places that's going to really fulfill your happiness, really see something new. And that's when God just took you higher, took you to newer heights. See, you were around people that wanted to make you feel like they knew you was the bomb. That's why they was with you, for the wrong reasons, and we're going to get to that too. So because they knew that you were a man and you were a woman, despite your mistakes and despite us even being in the world, it still never changed your heart. They knew you were special. They knew you were deserving. And the fact that you stood out, and the fact that you was different, and the fact that you still always got what you deserved, you still, never let people stop you that wanted you to give up. You never let people try to stop your money. They tried to stop your finances. They tried to stop your hustle. They tried to stop, you from seeing the beauty and seeing the uniqueness. And they tried to stop you from seeing the value whenever you looked into the mirror as a man and as a woman of Christ. They tried to devalue your value, and your value is out of this world. Like, when I tell y'all you are a diamond in the rough, you are a diamond in the rough. To the point where, like, you have done a 360. You have done so much improvement. God has done a amazing work in you, to where you look in the mirror, you double look again. You're like, wait a minute. You can't even believe it. And, you don't go to the places that you used to go because you're not in that, like, it's a time and place for everything. But, you just know the enemy's plans. You know how to double work. And understand this too. Listen, the devil, he don't attack what's not valuable. So the fact that, sometimes it seems like before God elevates you even more, before God finna bless you some more, God is blessing you more because he's also just rewarding you for, like, you just not giving up. Like, it was not easy dealing with what you dealt with. 2025, like, it was like, okay, like, now for sure, like, you're not jeopardizing. Listen, you worked so hard to get out of that depression. You worked so hard to just get out of a spot that people really tried to not only hold you in captivity in, but people really tried to break you. You've built yourself back up in areas internally, mentally, emotionally, where people really try to break you. And as I was saying to myself the other day, I'm like, for all of us, building back your confidence up is not easy. To the point where once you stop hanging around the people that you used to hang around with, we've been cut that off. You stop going to places that you used to go. Like, I'm talking about really just being still, really hearing God's voice, and just sitting down and really just saying to yourself how proud you are of yourself. And, you just, you don't cry, but you cry tears of joy, and just really sitting down to yourself thinking like, wow, as God is doing a great work in you, as you're praying, don't be afraid to pray where, if you don't know where to start, because God is not going to put more on you than you can bear. But, sometimes it's like, listen, you don't realize how you made a complete 360. You are looking unrecognizable, to the point where y'all wonder why people want to bring your past up. Those that be jealous of you, hating on you, they ain't got nothing to say. They quiet now. They was all laughing. They quiet now. They humble now. God shut the mouths and humbled the mouths of your enemies. They know not to try that with you. Plus, you don't be giving nobody a reaction anyways. But listen, like, you realize how much you was missing you. You were hanging around the wrong people, giving your energy to the wrong people, giving your strength to the wrong people, just giving the valuable parts of yourself to people. Down to your presence. People who just was envious of everything about you, down to your feet, to where, they wanted to disrespect your presence. They really tried to break you. And, you gave the most valuable parts to people that just tried their best to devalue. And you're so valuable, it didn't work. Whatever they were planning, it didn't work. You sat down and you sacrificed and you was obedient. You got tired of being sick and tired, and you let God work on you. And even to myself today, y'all, I've been reading, I've been journaling, and I have, some of y'all have really just been sat, like just going out for walks. It's snowing outside. I'm not sure wherever y'all live at, if it's hot, but you've just been really telling to yourself, listen, it's 2026, and yes, you're putting God first, but God is telling you to put you first. Because when you put you first and when you pour into yourself and you really sat down and realized, wait a minute, when's the last time you asked yourself, are you really happy? When's the last time where, you really looked out for yourself? Did something good for yourself. And when I mean did something good, I don't mean just like, spending money and stuff like that, but really checked on your own well-being. Because some people, they want to call and make it seem like they checking on your well-being. But it just hit different because they're not really genuine, and they're not really calling it to be concerning, calling to be monitoring spirit. And then you know what? That's when you pray. And it's like, as you pray and God pours back into you, you're pouring it into the things now that value you. It's iron sharpen iron by you. It's iron sharpen iron. You're pouring into things where it's iron sharpening iron, and it's just aligning into your purpose. You're doing everything that's aligned into your purpose because you're in your purpose. And that's why you have so much peace. You're sleeping well. You're looking well. You're glowing. You've been eating right. Your appetite is back up. Things are feeling more fulfilling. Things are just things that, are just feeling more alive. You feel more alive. Like, how many know whenever you pray, God just pours into you, and it's just like you just feel so spiritually hydrated. We know water hydrates us, but when you're drinking your water and God is just spiritually hydrating you, like that is just that is another level of glow. You already are the light that's surrounded by darkness. So, you're something special. And I'm just glad that if you're seeing this, you're seeing this and you're feeling this. You're doing the inner work. And what I also want to say is, as you're, putting all this work in, as you're in your purpose, you're fasting, you're eating fruits and vegetables. You're just getting to, you're not procrastinating no more. You're able to just get things done. Whatever's on your to-do list, whatever's on your goals that you've been holding off for a while. And speaking of goals, don't ever feel like it's too late to accomplish or it's too late to look into your goals. Listen, you don't owe nobody nothing. If anything, we're giving more time to God. And listen, God says the ball is in your court. They had all 2022. They had all 2023, 2024, 2025. And then once you've seen that God stepped in and said enough is enough and removed you, revealed and removed people, isolated you again, elevated you, prepared a feast in front of your enemies. They seen they couldn't destroy you. They really showed their true colors. They really tried to act funny with you. And you was like, wow. After all you did for people, after all the support you really genuinely had for people, but they really didn't want to see you win. But guess what? You're going to win regardless. And, you just you feel refreshed. Today, and don't forget to get rest. Get rest. Recharge. You have all the peace all the time. You're not around people that's draining your energy. They throw a fit if they want to, but it's to the points where you know what? You know who you are. You know you love unconditionally. You're not having survivor's remorse. You're unapologetically caring about your mental health. I told myself, y'all, you're caring about your mental health. You're able to sit down and regroup and recharge. And, as God is just spiritually hydrating you, pouring more into you, just strengthening you wherever you are weakened, and just giving you discernment, having you see things more clearly. Just not only is he seeing the best in you, he's allowing you to see the best in you. And you're like, wait a minute, I had all this in me? God is like, yeah. I not only want you to have discernment and see other people for who they are, but I want you to really see you for who you really are, how talented you really are, how gifted you really are. God is showing you all the parts of you, valuable parts of you, potential parts of you, gifted parts of you, talented parts of you, showing you everything that you've always had. And you're finally believing in yourself. You didn't even know you even had all this, because people was around you. They was trying so hard to kick you while you was down. That's how powerful you was. It took groups. It took gang stalking family members. It took gang stalking friends, people. Some of y'all was like, down for your friend. You was a shoulder for your friend to cry on. Come to find out, she was hating on you. You was like, wait a minute. You sacrificed so much just to be hanging out with them. And you know what? Listen, no more sacrificing. None of that. And you know what? It's out of love. Listen, you pray for people. You still speak highly of people. If God puts it on your heart, listen, you're just letting go and letting God. And you're just, even when you pray throughout the day, you're telling God to guide you. You're caring about your mental health. As you're letting God guide you, and as you're letting God guide your steps, and put things on your heart, just guiding you towards the right direction whenever you feel like you're getting weary and well doing, or you feel like you're overwhelmed. You feel like at times, you're making all this improvement. It just seems like you're going through an emotional roller coaster. You want to just lock yourself in the closet. 1 minute, you up. Then the next minute, you don't know what to do. Because now you have all the time to do everything. Well, you have all the peace. And, it's different because, you're used to people pulling on you. You're used to going up high and God elevating you, and you're used to people pulling you back down. And as you keep on going higher and higher and higher, the enemy, he's mad. He's not going to attack what's not valuable. And part of the spiritual warfare is those thoughts, is those feelings. And I want you to know, listen, pray. Tell God, let's God, I need more of you. I want you to guide me, amen, through my steps. You're praying to God about certain situations. And when I tell y'all he worked just like this, and part of what God told me today, because as I've been, journaling, y'all, taking time out from hearing all the noise, taking time out, from watching TV, and taking time out just from being in my own thoughts at times, and just acknowledging the fact that your feelings are valid. It's the reason why situations and relationships are how they are right now. And not to boost anybody's head up or, to be conceited. But come to find out, you really were never the problem. Whenever you felt you were the problem, you would apologize. And if it was a misunderstanding, kind of find out, you were apologizing to people that, that were manipulative, and you had nothing to really apologize for. Like they want them the same ones who want you to apologize for not allowing them to bring out the worst in you. For wanting the best, wanting you to apologize because it's a problem that you moved on because you want the best for you. You moved on and you chose God's side and not their side because you realized that, even though they left and they forsaken you and they wanted to not support you because they really wanted you to give up and depend on them. But listen, you put all your trust in God. You depend on God. God is like your right hand man. God is your everything. And I know it's just amazing for you, just developing and just getting even closer with God, just one-on-one time with God. Like really just, instead of sitting in your thoughts, really just inviting the Holy Spirit in. And he wants you to be aware of how you feel. Your feelings are valid. Don't minimize your feelings. Don't ever think you're being too sensitive. Don't think you're not deserving. Don't think you're being selfish. Those are all talks from people back in 2025, 2020, all that stuff. And they probably wish that they could have another chance, but you know what? You're just so much in your purpose. You can't risk it. You can't afford it. And you're realizing so much more of you that has improved. You've done a complete 360. You're looking unrecognizable. You're not going to places you used to go to. You realize it's not serving a purpose. It's not serving a purpose in your life. It's just bringing you to a dead end. It's bringing in more problems. You're not hanging around who you used to hang around. It's bringing out the worst in you, and you're really leveling up. Like you have boundaries. You putting your foot down, and you're really trying. You're doing things and hanging around people, places, and things that's aligned with your purpose. You're hanging around people that's either on your level or higher than your level, and it's going to get you closer and closer to Christ, or closer and closer to your purpose, or things that give you peace, things that give you love, joy. Because God is love and peace, and the right love. The right love, not the control love, not the confusion, not the deceivement. Not people that's sent from the enemy. Not people that, that want to come up off your energy, come up off your anointing, come up because they see what you could offer them. No. Because you have a whole lot of value to bring to the table. And I'm not just talking about materialistically. You have your anointing, you have your purpose, you have your assignment, you have your calling. You're the light that's surrounded by darkness. There's nothing that you cannot do. You realize that. Once you put your mind to it, and God is in it, it's thriving. Everything you touch, it turns into gold. But I want you to also, while you're, as you've done this 360, and as you've done all this self-improvement, all this, you've just been elevating and doors that were once closed in your life, God is opening them, because God never denied your plans. He just delayed them. Now that you're not hanging around blessing blockers, you're not telling, letting your left hand know what your right hand doing around these hindering spirits that always try to sabotage you or speak negativity onto things just in hopes to discourage you and unmotivate you. You've been so laser sharp focused. You've been so motivated. That spark is back in you. You feel it. You're waking up in the morning, you're thanking God for waking you up. You're grateful. And you're caring about you. You're caring about not only the outside of you, but you're caring about the inside of you. You're caring about him. You're caring about her. Because you realize that, when you put yourself first, as far as making sure, you're because the mind is a terrible thing to lose. Sometimes I would ask myself, because I would go to the gym, but why is my stomach hurting? Stress. Sometimes, you put the makeup on, you put the hair on, you put the nails on, but how are you really feeling? And now that your mind is not stuck on trying to save everybody, being in survival mode, trying to save everybody, I'm so happy. You're saving you. You're saving your mental health. You're saving your emotional health by, letting God work on you, more on your emotional intelligence. You're acknowledging how you feel. You're more in tune with how you feel. You're more in tune and aware of your surroundings and your reality and what's going on in your life. And that's why I want y'all to encourage you all to, beautiful people, to also know, listen, we watch all these videos, even if you watch my videos, listen, there's times where I have, listen, I've been talking to God more. I've been, sometimes, yes, we're moving on, but I've been, yes, we're getting rest, but just sitting down and really, not that we're thinking about the past and who did what to us, but just realizing how far you've came, giving yourself credit, encouraging yourself, saying uplifting words, because, you don't want to discourage yourself and you don't want to say negative talk to yourself, because your body is a temple, your body is fragile, and, you don't want the enemy attacking your mind. You want to think highly of yourself. God is giving you back confidence. God is giving you back everything that, yes, the enemy tried to steal from you, and people tried to steal from you. Tried to destiny swap. They tried to give you their miserable life, project their insecurities onto you, make you have their fears, make you feel like them, make you be afraid to live your dreams like how they was. And God pulled you away from that. God protected you away from all of that. God rescued you, amen, from all of that. So it's okay to feel how you're feeling. It's okay to at times feel like you're going through a range of emotions. That can be spiritual warfare, because this is all new for you. You, like I said, you've made such a change. And no one's perfect, but you've been laser sharp focused. You haven't been getting weary and well doing, because you know that you're going to reap if you faint not. Little negative things that might happen, it's not fazing you. You're not allowing people to get a negative reaction out of you and have you act out of character, because guess what? You're focused, you and your purpose. You're continuing to keep on going, but as you're continuing to keep on going, as you're pressing towards the mark, as you're pressing towards your purpose, getting closer and closer to the destiny that God has promised you, getting closer and closer to the blessings and the things that you've prayed for and the things that God has promised you, you're caring about your mental health. You're making sure you're on a high frequency, so that way, you have positive thoughts about yourself as well. You're caring about your health. That's why God encourages us to continue to fast, eat our fruits and vegetables, eat fruits that keep us on a high frequency, because some foods can make us tired and depressing and make us have, health and digestive problems. You have a peace of mind where, you're actually, reading the food that you're eating. You're actually paying attention to what you're putting into your body. You're paying attention to what you're putting into your body, from the people to the energy to the food to how things make us feel, how you can make yourself feel, how other people can make you feel. And you deserve to feel good. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to listen, walk into your purpose. That's why you're so gifted and you're so gifted and talented. And I just wanted you to know that and put that message, out there. Okay, so I hope that everyone, had a great day today. Get rest, okay? Every second it does count, but your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid and you're valuable, okay? And listen, you've done a complete 360 self-improvement inside and out. Sometimes the outside, it can always get done. But what's more important is the inside. You feel better. You're working on the inside. God is stretching you. So that can kind of explain, that uncomfortable comfortability at times, but that's because you're laser sharp focused. That's because you're disciplined. The enemy is mad because he doesn't have you in a stuck and complacent, state of mind anymore. He's mad that he can't get you to devalue yourself and settle for less. He's mad that you're not going back to what's not serving a purpose in your life until people really show what they done showed you, but until God says it's time. You're really just listening to God. You're really getting an understanding in God's ways. And listen. Yes, we give God the glory. Yes, we owe it all to God, and God is saying, listen, you owe it all to yourself as well. Because when you do the inner work on yourself, and when you try to show up and be the best version of yourself, caring about you, you're not just a mom, you're not just a dad, you're not just an entrepreneur, but how do you feel as a person? And you've been putting yourself first, and you've been doing the work, and you've been letting God just do a tremendous great work on you, and everything else is just improving. People are seeing that. And that's the unrecognizable part to you. But I don't want to keep y'all here for 5 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut that off. Okay, so continue doing what you're doing. You're doing it well. I thought of that song. And continue to stay prayed up and positive. Okay, so have a great night, and I will see you all next time. Bye.